back here from the worldwide leader in sports, from ESPN, from First Take, from SportsCenter, former NBA champion, Kendrick Perkins, here on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, sir?
What's going on, fellas? How y'all doing? Appreciate y'all having me back.
Of course. This is going to be the second of many, as far as I'm concerned. So let's get into it, Kendrick. Which team did you see from the first weekend, and then maybe the first full week of the playoffs? Let's start with the one that surprised you the most. Which one is that, Kendrick?
You know what? I mean, I'm going to say this. That surprised a lot of people but didn't surprise me is the Memphis Grizzlies, right? I've been high on Jamal Murray and the Memphis Grizzlies. I've been watching them for a long time. And what they're doing right now is just a beautiful thing to see, right? You're looking at a group of young guys, and like my grandmother used to say, they got old souls, baby. They just got old souls, and that's how they play. They play with a certain type of tenacity. They act like they play like they're seasoned vets, like they've been here before. They never get rattled. And watching them play and watching their journey and having to make the play-in tournament, lose to Golden State, then having to go and play San Antonio and beating San Antonio, flying back to Golden State and having to go have a hard-fought game that went to overtime, and John Moran and Dylan Brooks stepped up tremendously, and their coach doing great things. Like, just think about this, right? A lot of people don't give coach a ton of credit, and I feel like you look at that Golden State game, it was about 4 plays that he could have challenged, and he didn't. And I felt like it was a great thing because he tested the character of his team, and it turned out well for him, and I think it helped them. That's why they went to Utah and went and won game 1. And I feel like this team is playing with a lot of confidence, and I actually got them picked to beat the Utah Jazz. This team is fun and electrifying, and I just haven't saw a young core like this really since the Oklahoma City Thunder when they pushed the Los Angeles Lakers, I think, to a Game 6 or Game 7. Back when Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant and James Harden were babies.
So then when I was going to ask you which team is in the most trouble and concerns you, then I guess maybe I have my answer in the Utah Jazz. Even though Donovan Mitchell didn't play in Game 1, we did hear that he was pissed about not playing in Game 1, and that and he's going to be back for Game 2. Would you say the Jazz are the team that concerns you the most, or you want to throw somebody else in that mix, Kendrick Perkins?
Well, you know what? I'm going to say this about the Utah Jazz, right? I know they have the best record in the league, but to be honest, a lot of people don't have them winning the championship, right? We wouldn't be surprised if they make it to the finals because the West is wide open. So, to be honest, I mean, unless you're a Jazz fan and Memphis beat them, I mean, it would be an upset because it's a 1-8 seed, but nobody would really be shocked, and not me personally. I think right now the team that's that's in trouble is the Los Angeles Clippers. And I say that because when I watch the way that the Dallas Mavericks are playing against them, they playing with a chip on their shoulder. And it was instigated by the Clippers towards the end of the season. Well, it actually started in the bubble last year, but it didn't. It carried on because the Clippers lost their last 2 games to face the Dallas Mavericks in the first round. And the way that the Dallas Mavericks came out in Game 1, talking noise, swagged up in the Staples Center, and the way that they beat them, I'm looking at it like the Clippers have got their hands full. They got to be really, really careful, and they better come out in this game, too, like it's a Game 7, like it's no tomorrow, because if they lose this game tonight, Dallas is going to win this series.
What ails the Clippers? What is up with that? I mean, I know they were up 3-1 in the bubble last year before it all caved in again. Kawhi, Does he have that chip? It doesn't seem like he does have that chip, although you never see a chip. He's won 2 chips, but they're waiting to see it here in Los Angeles, certainly with the Lakers having won last year. What do you think is up with the Clippers? What's missing?
You know what? To me, you know how they could say sometimes having too much could hurt you? And I feel like that's what's happening with the Clippers right now. They have too much. Like, you only could play 8 or 9 guys. And when you look at their depth and they kept adding pieces, it's like, who you going to play? Are you going to play Reggie Jackson, or you going to play Rondo, you going to play Patrick Beverly? Are you going to play Nicholas Batum, or you going to give a majority of the minutes to Marcus Morris? Probably Marcus Morris, because you just gave him a big payday, right? Are you who's going to be your 2 bigs out of the 3 bigs you got? Is it going to be Zubac and Ibaka, or is it going to be Big Cousin Stone in the mix somewhere? Like, it's just too much that I feel like Ty Lue have to deal with. And then on top of that, I don't think Kawhi is healthy, right? He's battling through nicks and bruises. And then on top of that, where's Paul George, right? Paul George came out. He said, hey, people are going to pay this year. People go pay. I'm coming out. He came out early in the regular season as usual, but now this is the time where it matters the most. And again, Paul George, shine away from the moment. And when I say shine away from the moment, I like, if Paul George don't score 30 points, I'm okay with that. But Paul George is also labeled as the elite defender. And when you have a guy that's 6'7", 6'8", like Luka, who has the ball in his hands, I'm expecting Paul George to step up to the plate and say, I got him. That's what I'm expecting. But I'm not seeing that. So I'm like, okay, sooner or later, something got to give with the Clippers, because it ain't the coaching, right? You get rid of Doc Rivers and you hire Ty Lue. Ty Lue is a protege of Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers raised Ty Lue in the coaching game. So it ain't the coaching, it's the fight. Like, nobody's gonna back down from you guys. Nobody cared that Kawhi Leonard dunked on Cleveland and y'all went stood over him and yelled and stared them down. Like, nobody gives a damn. The Dallas Mavericks don't. They still beat y'all. And you know what Cleveland said? He said, guess what? I get dunked on 100 times. I'm going to challenge every shot. And that showed me that this Dallas Maverick team is about that life. They want that smoke. They're not afraid of embarrassment. So the Clippers got to be careful, man.
Kendrick Perkins here on the Rich Eisen Show, co-host of the ESPN Hoop Streams, as well as a face and voice of their basketball coverage right here on the Rich Eisen Show. So tonight, this is a question that informs us as to who you think obviously is going to make the NBA Finals when you hear how I construct the question, but it also may inform us who you think will not. So you can only choose one team playing tonight: Celtics, Nets, Lakers, Suns, Mavericks, Clippers. You can only choose one team that makes the NBA Finals out of this group of 6 tonight. Who do you think? Who would you choose, Kendrick Perkins, based on that small construct that I've given you here from tonight?
I'm going with the best defense in the NBA and the best duo in the NBA, and that's the Los Angeles Lakers. And look, I told everyone, don't panic, relax. We saw this same story last year. The Lakers lost game 1 of Portland. Everyone was saying Portland go upset them. What happened? Gentleman's sweep. We saw it happen in the second round. P.J. Tucker, he's locking Anthony Davis up. They gonna have a hard time with James Harden and Russell Westbrook. What happened? Gentleman's sweep. When Anthony Davis and LeBron James decides to turn up, no one could stop them. LeBron James averaged 29, 10, and 10 throughout the playoffs last year. Anthony Davis, I believe, averaged, 29 or 30 and 14 or some ridiculous numbers like that. He was putting up Shaq and Wilt Chamberlain numbers. So at the end of the day, they have the best defense in the NBA. They lost game 1. Phoenix Suns only scored 99 points. They have the best defense in the NBA, and they have the best duo, in my opinion, since Kobe and Shaq. So it's hard for me to go against that Los Angeles Lakers team. I'm going to have to ride with them until somebody proves to me that they're going to beat them 4 times in the series, which I don't see happening.
So then let's pull this strand a little on the Nets. If you choose the Lakers there, and that means the Nets, not like we can't see the Nets Lakers, but again, I'm trying to put this in a little bit of a box to have a conversation. Who would make it out of the East if not the Nets? Do you buy what we've seen in the first 2 games for the Bucks? Looks like obviously a different result first 2 games against a team that knocked them out of last year's playoffs and then won the conference in the Heat, or you think the Sixers or somebody else even? We're seeing how the Hawks and the Knicks played.
You know what the crazy thing about it is that last year I went with the Miami Heat because I felt like they were just going to go in and outgoon the Milwaukee Bucks. And this year, all year long, I was rolling with the Philadelphia 76ers. I said they're playing inspiring basketball, well coached, they know their roles. And right at the last minute, before the postseason started, I switched up on everybody. I switched up, and I'm going with the Milwaukee Bucks. This team is deep. They're not lacking at anything. Giannis is a superstar. He plays both ends of the floor. And the addition of Drew Holiday is so huge. I think people don't realize that. He's the only guy that I've seen that gets up into Kyrie Irving and makes him uncomfortable and actually locks him down. So when you look at the Milwaukee Bucks, you look at Drew Holiday, you look at Chris Middleton, those guys could score, right? But then they have other guys that are also giving you buckets. You have guys like Brian Forbes, who came in off the bench shooting the lights out of the ball last night. But then on the backside of that, you have 2 rough riders, 2 guys that come in off the bench that's gonna be them big brothers to Giannis when he feel like he's having a down moment. That's gonna be those guys who go get in guys' faces, but also contribute on the court. And that's Bobby Portis, who averaged, I believe, around 11 and 8 this season off the bench. And then you got P.J. Tucker. You got Brook Lopez anchoring the defense, protecting the rim. They held the Miami Heat to under 100 points last night and put up 132. This team, everybody talking about the Brooklyn Nets and the big 3 scoring power, but the Milwaukee Bucks is the team that led the league in scoring this year, averaging 120. So I have the Milwaukee Bucks. I think this is their year to make noise and come out of the Eastern Conference. They have had they down moments in the playoffs when they lost to Toronto the year Kawhi was there, losing to Miami last year. I think with the additions that they add, great job by the front office. I think they have the deepest team in the league. They have enough star power to come out of the Eastern Conference.
So who do you think knocks the Sixers out? Do you think maybe the Hawks or the Knicks have a shot? I mean,
no, they don't have a chance at all. I actually think, to be honest with you, I actually think that it's going to be Philly and the Bucks.
Okay.
In the Eastern Conference Finals.
All right. Well, that would be quite something. That is for sure. And before I let you go, Trey Young, star-born right now? What we saw in just
game? Yes, he is. Right? Yes, he is. This is his coming out party.
It is, isn't
it? This is why I picked the Hawks to win in 7, is because of Trae Young. I mean, he's a 4-level scorer, and right now I feel like he's going to be what Jamal Murray was last year in the bubble. He's going to come out and put on a performance. I mean, he's built for this, right? He's been doing this since he was at Oklahoma. The lights has been shining bright on him for a while, and now he has the supporting cast to do it. He has the Clint Capella down there along with John Collins. And then he have Bogdanovich, who's stretching the floor, averaging 17 points a game. Lemon Pepper Lou coming in off the bench. Like, he have so many weapons, but Trae is so phenomenal. The guy averaged 25 points and 9.5 assists this year, and he even make the All-Star team, and nobody really was talking about it. He gets you 25 in his sleep. So I feel like the Knicks just don't have enough to match up with him. I think he's going to get past the first round, and I think they're really going to push Philly to a Game 7, but Philly is going to win. But Trey Young is about to take off in these playoffs.
Fantastic chat, Kendrick. Thank you so much. Look for the call from the show again as we get to the second round. I really love your insight and the way you put things. Truly.
Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Anytime. I'm here all playoffs. Don't be strange.
I will not be. You can trust that. That's for sure. Thanks for the call. That's Kendrick Perkins right here on the Rich Eisen. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.